Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to... We really have to come up with a name for these mini podcast single topic things. Either way, welcome to Nightmare Broadcasting Studio. I am Shadow Mercury, joined today by my Soul Sniper, Soul Striker 7s.
Hello.
And the guy who loves nothing more than helping people, Failhammer.
Hi.
For those of you who are wondering what the fuck we're talking about, these are inside jokes from our Ghost Recon Wildlands Let's Play, which, if you couldn't tell by the title of this video, we're here to talk about its sequel, Ghost Recon Breakpoint. So, Ghost Recon Breakpoint was, to a degree, very hyped up as the sequel to Wildlands, and a lot of people were excited to play it because it was boasting, the vehicle combat, the tactical combat, the squad-based combat, everything that made Wildlands so much fun, but they're going to throw in a couple extra, new stealth mechanics, melee takedowns, stealth takedowns, like a bunch of stuff that a lot of people had wanted to see implemented in Wildlands that didn't get implemented. So when we were seeing the trailers and everything for the game, we got excited.
Oh yeah, the freaking small things like camouflaging and hiding bodies. That stuff looked like really good.
Oh yeah,
that
that
a
was
few
some...
times we've been able to do that in Wildlands.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been very nice to be able to do in Wildlands, and that's that was a piss off because again, Wildlands came out in 2017, and it's like you cannot hide a body. Ubisoft, you gave us the ability to hide bodies in Assassin's Creed 2, which came out 2007, 2008?
Dead body spotted. Mother...
Well, to be fair, the amount of times that the body that was found was something we'd shot from 100 meters away. It's not like, It's not like Striker had a little grappling hook attached to the bottom of his sniper rifle to just hit the leg and just slowly drag the corpse out of sight with.
Holy crap.
Again, what the fuck, Ubisoft?
We will forgive the ability to not be able to rappel off of buildings. Give us a body hook.
Oh my god.
Striker just up on a
fortress.
Striker just up on a crane and just look up. He's got all these bodies hanging from it like the fucking Predator.
I was just about to say, yeah. I would be moving bodies out the way. I'd be moving up to my post as decoration.
Oh god, now I'm just thinking about the start of the second Rurouni Kenshin movie.
Hey, we've gone off topic.
just a little bit. So Ghost Recon Breakpoint came out, and even before that, the beta came out. I got to play in the beta. I got to be part of the beta discussion, the beta forums, and the beta was everyone who's in the not everyone, about 85% of the players in the beta were straight up telling Ubisoft, "This isn't what we want. This isn't the game we were promised." Because we wanted another game, we wanted a more polished and a more upgraded version of Wildlands. And that's not what we got. We are being given another Division game. We're being given another always online looter shooter game.
Yeah.
And that's not what we wanted. We didn't want, I guess I can't speak for all players, because I do know on the forums there were some people who were singing the praises of Breakpoint, going, "This is amazing, I love it." For the most part, there's a lot of people who weren't happy. I know close to 86% of beta testers canceled their pre-orders.
That's a big number.
Oh, yeah. I think by the time the beta was fully over, the number dropped down to around 82%. But still, that's a lot of people saying, "Fuck this shit, I'm out." And so, again, I can't really speak for all of the players of Ghost Recon Wildlands, but, especially... I don't even think this really works with Fail, but for Striker and myself specifically, when we played Wildlands, for us it was very much, we kind of, we had our babies. We had the one gun that we just absolutely loved. It's I'm never gonna let you go. That being Striker's HT1 BFG 50 caliber semi-automatic sniper rifle.
got real
And-
into details on that one.
I'm pretty sure I got some of those numbers and letters wrong, but his boomstick,
Oh yeah.
or as he aptly named it, Sure Shot. And then for me, there was my silenced honey badger, which I named my Niffler. And because we never unequipped those guns, we had those guns from episode 1 all the way to, what was the final episode? Episode 83?
Maybe.
Yeah, like with some of these like with some of the extra missions we'll have to do and whatnot, we might need to change our loadout.
Also maybe.
Maybe. That's a big maybe. But but either way, so for like players like myself and Striker, we like to play with, we have our favorite gun. We want to play the game with our favorite gun. And in a looter shooter, you can't really do that because, you can find your favorite gun and be like, oh, thank God, I finally found it. And then literally 2 minutes later, like, oh no, I found something with better numbers. And I need better numbers because numbers. Yay.
It doesn't even really make sense for a Ghost Recon game because it's still got the one hit, the headshot, one shot kill mechanic as well. So having bigger numbers makes no sense when you've got when like practically every gun can be a one shot kill.
Yeah, like that was one thing that took me out of Division because I played the original Division, and I loved the original Division up until I got to a point where I had a 50 caliber sniper rifle. I came across a street thug, and I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna kill this guy." And because his numbers were higher than mine, I emptied every single round of 50 caliber ammo I had into his face, and I just lightly scratched his health bar. And like, unless he was wearing, the titanium toque of immortality, which I'm pretty sure isn't a thing, that's bullshit, and it completely killed the entire game for me. Like, from that moment, I was like, I don't want to play this anymore. I'm not immersed. This isn't real. A human being shouldn't be able to tank a 50, like, it's an anti-material rifle. He should be, his face should be, like, paint on the wall behind him. Instead, he's chewing on the bullets and going, who gave me free gum? So I quit playing Division after that. I traded the game back in. Like, I was just completely done with it.
I mean,
And
Breakpoint's not that bad. Like I said, it's still got the whole one-shot kill mechanic, and from the looks of things, numbers seem to mostly affect mechanical stuff and how much damage you take. But still,
yeah, like, because that was something I tested when, because minor spoilers to Breakpoint to anyone who gives a shit. In the tutorial mission, they actually have a part where you get a warning that says, like, level 150 gear required for this area because they just drop a bunch of high-level enemies on you and you're supposed to run. And I'd gotten lost and taken I took a wrong route and wound up getting a sniper rifle before I got to this area, and I figured, you know what? Let's see how much they fuck this game up. And so I went into this level, recommended level 150, I'm level 2. And I killed everyone there. One shot to the head, problem solved. And I was like, okay. And I looked on the forums, and apparently the level only really matters when you're fighting like the little drone, like the robots that they send out, because they're the things that are the bullet sponges. They're the things that, if your numbers are too low, you're gonna have a hard time killing. Which, won't lie, I'm a little bit okay. I'm a little better with that, but it's still the matter of. I don't want a looter shooter, because it's both like your weapons and your armor. Like you find clothing that increases your damage and increases your level. It's like I don't want that. I want to just play the fucking game.
I mean, yeah, on the one hand, yeah, the fact that people aren't bullet sponges makes sense. On the other hand, that shouldn't be a thing anyway. Like, the whole needing a level to gear shouldn't be needed in this game.
Yeah, because again, like it's Ghost Recon.
I mean, yeah, I mean,
sorry, go ahead, Striker.
Yeah, I looked into Ghost Recon. Like, I wanted to get an idea of what Ghost Recon as a franchise, what its what it was at its core. Because like I've only played Wildlands and I haven't played the rest of the series. So I did looked at a couple of videos and stuff to see what the other games were like, and I can definitely say they really took the core of Ghost Recon out in Breakpoint, because the core thing since the beginning is a squad-based tactical shooter, and Breakpoint is neither of those things really. Because I mean, unless you've got playing on multiplayer, that you don't have a squad. I mean, that's kind of the main point, is having a squad with you. Yeah, sure, the AI control like garbage in most games, but they're still there and they're still part of the tactics. And with the looter shooter and survival mechanics, you've taken away a lot of the whole military tactical side of it. So instead of having a Ghost Recon game, you've got this weird mesh of Division, Destiny, and Far Cry just all crammed in together with nothing that really makes it look like a Ghost Recon game.
Yeah, and just going back to you mentioning AI, that's another thing, is Breakpoint doesn't even have AI. There are no AI companions for people who want to play by themselves. They haven't added them in yet. Those are still being developed to be patched in at a later date.
Like I said, that has been a thing in every Ghost Recon game. Not just Wildlands, but every Ghost Recon game has had AI squad mates. Even the goddamn on-rails Wii shooter had squad mates. Come on!
Jesus, Striker getting the gold star today. He did his research.
Well, I just didn't seem fair to make it to compare. Like, is this a Ghost Recon game without knowing what? With only comparing it to Wildlands. Like, you gotta see what is Ghost Recon.
I appreciate you doing that as well, because again, Wildlands was my first Ghost Recon game as well.
Same.
But and because again, and a big reason we're making this video is because Ubisoft has come out and addressed the issues with Breakpoint, because they made a statement about their financial year, and because of how badly Breakpoint has done, their profit margin for the remainder of this year has plummeted by I think close to 90%. Ubisoft's taking a huge financial hit because of how bad Breakpoint has done. Not just Breakpoint, just overall, Ubisoft's had a bad year. But Breakpoint is really the cherry on top of this shit cake.
Yeah, wasn't that supposed to try and get them through the financial year, Breakpoint?
Yeah, and it didn't.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
That up.
Yeah. So yeah, and what I'm glad to see is because Ubisoft they let out a blog post recently. I haven't read it myself. I've only heard some of the highlights from it. We'll try and get the blog post put in the description below. So if it's not there, it means I forgot to do it. So hey, but in the blog post, the big thing that they're saying is they want to try and they're saying that they're hearing the fan base, they understand where we're coming from, and they're going to try and fix the game so it is tailored to allow players to play the game the way we want to play. Which means, of course, the most upvoted comment on the blog post is, so does that mean we can play offline?
Yeah,
because again, it's an always online looter shooter.
Yeah, what the fuck? Yes, always online shit is just what? Why?
Well, again, because everyone's trying to have, because again, Destiny, as you mentioned, Destiny, everyone's trying to have their own Destiny, because Destiny, while it's not as popular as it was at launch, it's still doing really good. It still has a huge amount of player engagement. There's still people playing it, tens of thousands, probably even hundreds of thousands of people playing it daily. I have been awake for 22 hours at this point. I apologize if my English go bad. And not just that, but then you've also got like what's the biggest, like one of the biggest games in the world right now? Fucking Fortnite. So like that's the problem, is so many companies I feel are trying to jump on this live service, jump on this always online bullshit kind of stuff, because they're trying to cut into that. They want their piece of the pie, and it's like the people already have their pie. You're trying to offer, black cherry to someone who's already going, I've got my lemon meringue, I've got my chocolate cream. Fuck off, I don't want your black cherry, I've already got the pie I want.
I mean, that's the thing though. Games like Fortnite and Destiny are designed to be massive multiplayer games, to have lots of people around. As being Fortnite, that's the whole point. As a multiplayer game, but that's not what Ghost Recon is. It's not about. I mean, like, especially if like it's meant to be about a squad, and then even with Breakpoint trying to emphasize on that solo survival intensity, that doesn't mean there doesn't need to have an online community around then, because that kind of defeats the purpose of trying to be more solo survival intensity if you can go to the hub and there's a big community of people there.
Yeah, and even when you look at all the all the ads for Ghost Recon Breakpoint, like the initial trailers, the very first trailer that we got showed what was the name? Nomad. They show Nomad, he's by himself, he's traveling by himself across the island, but then as he continues, he finds squad mates, and at the end of the trailer, he's back in a 4-man squad. You look at all the most recent ads that came out leading up to the launch, everything was a 4-man squad. It was all about playing together, play as a group, like really pushing that really pushing the online co-op there. But that's the thing, is as Stryker said, Ghost Recon's always been about playing with a group, be it your friends or I'm assuming friends was more recent, but like you've always been in part of a squad.
Yeah.
And that was another thing, is like with all the build up to Breakpoint, like even all the way back at E3, I remember watching a lot of E3 coverage for Ghost Recon Breakpoint because I was excited for the game. Not once did they make any mention that this is an always online looter shooter style game. Not once did they make any mention of that. I didn't know it was an always online looter shooter until I got into the beta and I started playing, and after I started picking up a bunch of gear, it just kind of slowly dawned on me, like, this is feeling like The Division. And again, that's where I'm coming to, like, I don't know why Ubisoft felt the need to give us another Division when there's already The Division. Like, I won't lie, I'm interested in trying Division 2. I am completely open to giving that game a shot. I've heard good things about it. I've heard that Ubisoft learned their lessons from Division 1, and they've fixed them in Division 2, or at least they fixed a lot of them. And so therefore, I'm completely open to playing Division 2, but I don't want Ghost Recon to be another Division. I want Ghost Recon to be my nice, long, story-driven game in which, it has a beginning, middle, and end that doesn't require me to always be online, to always be playing with other people, and then to beat some fucking raid that they've got coming out here in order to find the end of the story. It's like, I don't want that. I want what we had with Wildlands, which was, what's your mission? Get El Sueño. What you do at the end of the game? You get El Sueño. And that was fucking fantastic.
Well, so wait, you said raid as in like...
Yeah, there's going to be a raid, like a Destiny raid.
A Destiny style raid?
Yeah, because there was raids in the Division.
That seems weird.
So you got to have, like, people aren't bullet sponges, but you're going to have a raid? I mean, I'm assuming the raid boss is probably going to be a machine, but still, a raid? How are you supposed to do that solo?
Well, you see, Stryker, while the game was designed to be a primarily solo experience...
An innovative
go fuck yourself.
Experience.
Like, yeah, that right there, because that was another thing. Like in the blog, Ubisoft was saying like the game was built from the ground up to be a solo experience. To which again, I'm agreeing with Striker here. Like, how the fuck are you supposed to? Okay. I should back up, because yes, there have been some crazy fucking people out there that I completely tip my hat to who have soloed virtually every single raid in Destiny. You crazy motherfuckers earned yourselves those cookies. But
yeah, but that's not the majority of the player base.
Yeah, that's like, I think, like 0.1%, if even that.
Like, not just in those people obviously very skilled, very dedicated people, but that's not what like I said, the majority of the player base is going to be able to do.
Yeah, I mean, like, look at us playing Destiny. 6 of us working together, we barely finish what we do. So, but anywho, so wow, we've been discussing this for quite a while, and now we're getting to the actual or I guess not really bread and butter, but kind of the point that I wanted to get to. This was Ubisoft was saying, like, they're listening to their fan base. They're going to try and they're going to try and tailor the game to allow us to play the way we want to play, and try and set it up to become the game that we want it to be, and the game that they know it can be. So to that, like, I have an idea. I actually have a crazy idea on how they could keep it as a looter shooter and still give at least players like myself and Striker what we want. I'll throw that out in a bit, but first I want to hear, like, Fail, Striker, what do you guys like? What are your thoughts and wants from Breakpoint? Like, what would Ubisoft need to do to fix it for you guys?
I'll let Fail go first, because I've ranted a bit already.
Yeah, Fail's just kind of been sitting there like, I'm also in the room.
Yes, hello. There are 3. You may not have noticed, but there are 3 people. Sorry, that sounded way more sarcastic or mean or whatever that I intended.
Mean-spirited, yeah.
Unbeknownst to Striker and myself, Fail has gone to the bathroom 3 times and ordered a pizza during the time that we've been talking.
Excuse you, it's 4 times.
Okay. Anywho, Fail, floor is yours.
Yeah, I suppose I'm not really looking at getting Breakpoint at all at the moment, from what I've heard about it. This is like, that was the thing that I liked about Wildlands. Is it's like, yeah, like, there was sort of like the part of it that sort of like, yeah, it still had sort of like numbers and things with like gathering resources and levels and whatever, but it was still like, I still sort of like the narrative part of it, and just like that there was a there was a world that you were interacting with and whatever, and yeah, like it just sort of felt good that, like, when you're mentioning the thing with the equipment, it's just like, okay, like, I never had any particular attachment to the stuff I was using, but it was still a case of like, yeah, okay, this is kind of the stuff I want to use, but I don't really want to be sort of like, oh, I found a better gun, I'll switch to that. Oh, now I found a better gun. It was like, I just kind of want to stay with the same stuff, and I want more of a narrative-driven thing as well.
So yeah, so like a better narrative and like consistent, well, not a looter shooter basically.
Yeah, basically, like, I don't want to be like chasing. I don't want to be like, to an extent in Wildlands we were sort of going around chasing better gear, but instead of just like, we weren't sort of like chasing better gear in the abstract. We were literally like, we want this thing and it's here, so we're gonna get it.
Yeah, and then with new weapons, it was never really like, ooh, this one's got better numbers, because like, yeah, like we've found a lot of guns that had better stats than what than what you guys had equipped. But for the most part, when it came to like the secondaries and the sidearms, you guys basically, okay, I got this new gun, I'm going to equip it, bang, bang, bang. Ooh, I like how that feels. I'm gonna use it. Or this thing kicks too much, or it I don't care for, like, there's always something that's like made you guys like either you liked it or you didn't, and it had nothing to do with its numbers are higher, therefore I have to use it. And I was like, no, it's like the damage is set. It just comes down to do I like the aesthetic? Do I like how it shoots?
Exactly.
And that's not the case in Breakpoint, because again, like they had to have that fucking weapon and armor tier system, which again, as I mentioned many times on the beta, just get rid of that and I can turn a blind eye to the rest of it. Just get rid of the armor, just bring back the weapon system from Wildlands, and I can turn a blind eye to the rest of it. Just let me have my guns.
Aye.
Striker? Your thoughts on how to fix the game? Or things that you'd like to see added, taken away?
I think it's too late. I honestly think it's far too late for it. Because, again, at its core, it's the whole looter shooter survival thing. And to add the AI, even adding the AI companions, sure, that's going to fix that, player-based problem. But is the game designed to be like that in the first place? Not really, because again, the fact they're having to individually create and add them now means obviously they were not ever meant to be part of it. So it means the narrative's going to be different. It's not going to be consistent. The survival aspect's going to be different. And, like, in a squad of players, when you're looter shooting, everyone's getting their gear and stuff. But with AI, do you have to give them gear? Do they have their own set gear? Do they scale with you? It's just obviously not designed that way. And even adding them in is not going to fix it. It's going to add more problems.
Yeah, because adding something like that, it's hardly trivial. Like if something's not there at the outset, then it's not like it's. I think that's the thing that like a lot of gamers don't get is like, oh, why don't they just add X? It's like, well, because it wasn't designed to have X, and it actually takes time to implement these things and test them, and like sort of like a scope creep thing. It's just like you release a game as one thing, and despite the fact you want something different, like you can't just sort of pivot the focus of the game on a whim.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like example, Assassin's Creed 3. One of the big highlights of it was the ship combat, and that was a big thing, and they had to make an entirely different game focused around that mechanic to make it a big deal, to make it a focus. They couldn't add more ship content to 3 to make better use of it. No, that wasn't what it was built for. It wouldn't work. So they had to make a whole new game to utilize it.
And in the process, they made the best Assassin's Creed of all time. Or at least to date.
Yeah, exactly. But you see what I'm getting at? Breakpoint, it doesn't seem to be designed that way, which it should have been, but it's not. And it feels like they'd almost have to go from the ground up again to implement them properly.
Yeah, that was something I was busy thinking about, especially when I was finished the beta. I was like, in order for them to change this to be the game that, the majority of us want it to be, they'd basically have to just scrap the whole thing and start from the ground up. Which, granted, like, I won't lie, because again, as I said, when I played the beta, I had fun playing the beta, and what they had going with the story and everything had me hooked, it had me intrigued, and I wanted to see where it's going. And to that point, like, if they have to scrap Breakpoint, like, shut it down, and then spend 2 years rebuilding it from the ground up to make it work as an offline game, or to basically just to basically turn into a reskinned Wildlands but with more polish and more options, like what we thought we were getting in the first place. I'm fine with waiting. I will wait, and when it comes out, assuming that they actually did it right and give us what we wanted in the first place, I'm gonna be more than happy to buy it. But as for is that all you wanted to say, Striker, before I go crazy here?
Yeah, I think that's my thought on it. The thing's already too fucked.
It's fucked. It's
our server that's on fire. Bring the marshmallows.
We need a new technical difficulty screen. for when things go wrong and we just don't care anymore.
Okay, so what my thought here is again, like, this would be, to a degree, I feel that this idea might actually still be doable for Breakpoint. It would probably take about 6 to 8 months to get it programmed, coded, and implemented. But I think this is something, like, if they could do this one thing alone, I think, like, I can say for myself, it would be enough for me to come in and play it. I think it might be enough to get Stryker to come back into it, potentially. I won't say that for certainty.
Bold statement.
Oh yeah, very bold statement, and I'm sure I'm probably going to get told to fuck off by the time I'm done talking here, but... But I had this thought on how they could save the game and still keep the fucking precious looter-shooter element to it while, again, like, appeasing players like myself and Stryker. So, to explain, in Breakpoint, like, as Stryker mentioned, there's a central hub, and in this central hub you've got, like, a store, and you've got a bunch of random shit, and in the store you can spend the in-game money, which is just dollars and credits you find all around the fucking island as you explore, and you can use this money to buy, like, your basic bitch guns, because, here's the base gun that you can find. Eventually you will find, higher numbers and brighter colors of this gun, but here's a starting point.
I got a red one.
Exactly. I'd say keep that, and but instead of having like the fucking higher numbers and all that shit, bring back Wildlands prestige mode, which for those of you who don't know, in Wildlands, when you got your character all the way up to level 40, you were then given the option to enter prestige mode, which would allow you to start, like, you'd select the weapon you want to prestige, and then that weapon would start earning experience with all the kills you gathered. And every time you leveled the gun up, the game's difficulty would rise a bit, but also the gun's damage and the gun's stats would rise a little bit. So have it like, so set it up that all the guns are essentially, like, you start the game immediately with prestige mode, and as you're playing, you level your guns up, and basically, like, it's kind of like like you're every time the gun levels up, you're getting mastery over the gun. You're getting better with it. You got quicker reload. You got more accuracy. All that kind of shit. Like, you get more used to the stability. You get more used to the kick, and then the gun levels up as you the more you use it. And then to keep the looter shooter aspect of it, remove the random remove the random better guns, and instead turn the loot into weapon parts. So that way, be like, okay, I've been using this assault rifle. Ooh, I found a +10 assault rifle barrel. Pfft, gun is now upgraded. Gun is a bit better. So that way you can, you can buy the gun that you want from the store, and then you can upgrade, and then you can do looter shooter with just that gun, play the entire game through, upgrading just that gun.
Oh, now I'm just that's just reminding me of the one of the things that I liked about Fallout 4 was its weapon upgrade system.
That's a a little bit where I had the idea from, and again, like, and the
I don't know.
and like set it and to set it up so that like finding weapon parts isn't locked to a specific gun. It's like, no, you find an assault rifle barrel, it goes in any assault rifle. You find a shotgun stock, it goes on any shotgun. You find a sniper rifle scope, it goes on any sniper rifle. And obviously, the better the stats of the thing you find, like the better the rarity, I guess. It would require a gun of a certain level in order to equip it to. And if you want to get like super fucking crazy, like find like a legendary sniper rifle, like a legendary semi-automatic sniper rifle receiver that can only go on an HT 150 caliber. Then obviously, if it's the best thing, like if it's gonna get like plus 20 to damage, plus 15 to accuracy, and plus 5 to reload, then like make it that it's for a specific gun, and that gun has to be max level in order to equip it. Because, you put that in, boom, the gun's fucking OP. Striker shooting choppers out of the sky.
Love that.
Yeah. But no, like that was the thought that I had, because if you could set it up, if they could implement that where, like we buy the gun we want, and then we can use those guns throughout the entire game and have the looter shooter element in there where we upgrade our guns. Like start the game and just slowly nurture our babies and watch them grow stronger until the day that they kill the big baddie, and we're so proud of them. I got really weird with my voice there, but I'm not being sarcastic, like full on. I would fucking love that. And again, like I would like to think I know Stryker well enough to say that he'd at the very least, go maybe? Like what are you guys' thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think I like the idea of it. As I said, you said it was partly inspired by the Fallout 4 system, and that was a system I really liked just because of the customizability that it gave to your weapons. Like you could, if you really went wild with it, you could basically transform one type of weapon in a certain category into another type just by manipulating all the parts in it.
Yeah.
I was going to say the thing you said I was going to say at the end of the sentence, but I forgot what it was.
Fuck you.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Yeah. Anyway. I see it's an interesting idea. I was flip-flopping whether or not that would work. Like, that's, like, what's the point of the progressing? Oh, but the parts, yes, yeah, blah. The one issue with that is, though, is if you want to actually change guns, because you said the parts would need to attach to a certain leveled gun. So if you had one assault rifle and you went through like a good chunk of the game with it, but then decided that you actually wanted a different kind, you'd actually then have to start ranking up that new gun to attach those new parts to it again. Which means you'd have to backtrack just to level up the gun.
Yeah, like again, looter shooter, like that's where it would allow Ubisoft to keep the grind in there in order to help with player engagement. Which again, I understand. It was one of those things that I was thinking of. I was thinking of that as well. It's very much a oh fuck, that would suck.
So it fixes some problems, I guess. Like I liked the idea of getting parts and higher ranking parts and all that. That seemed like a good idea. But again, because like I remember when we were going through Wildlands, while I didn't change my sniper rifle, I experimented with my secondary a lot, going through a couple of assault rifles, a couple of SMGs even, and again, I did settle on a few, but that's the thing, with that mechanic, if I did experiment with a different one and said, oh actually I like this better, but now I can't use it because I'm too, like, this it's too high level for me to level it up to put the parts on it now.
That was one thing I just realized that there was one thing I forgot to mention. Another aspect of this would be like Breakpoint currently also has in the skill tree, one of the skills you can learn is weapon craft, I believe, or weaponsmith. I can't remember what the fuck it's called. Essentially, what it is you can dismantle weapons that you find to get like weapon parts, or so I can't remember what they call it, and then you use these parts to upgrade your equipped weapons to tier 1 or tier 2, and that just like raises their stats a little bit, and that's about it. So like you can make like a gray gun a bit better, but it's not going to be as good as a blue gun or any shit like that. I thought there was keep the whole like weapon parts thing. Like you find weapons you don't want, you find weapon parts you don't want, break them down into the gear, into like the scrap or whatever, and then you can use like the scrap as kind of like bonus experience to infuse into a new gun. So that way, if you do find a new gun you want, you can slap a fuck ton of scrap into it and boost it up quickly. Because like the further into the game you'd assume you'd have a big pile of scrap sitting around at some point.
Right. Okay, that would mitigate the problem.
And then even right there, Ubisoft, you can have your precious microtransaction. You can sell us scrap for real money. You greedy fucks. There. I just gave you an idea, Ubisoft. Pay me. Or at the very least, fix the game I was looking forward to for an entire summer.
That is a pretty decent idea. I think that would make things a bit better. Like the game would be a bit better that way, but it wouldn't solve the problem. It wouldn't bring the player base back.
Yeah, and even then, like that's just fixing like some core, like a core gameplay thing.
Yeah,
that's not addressing the bugs and the glitches and all of that shit that's going on, because I'm not even gonna touch on that fucking time grenade.
I feel like there's no point anymore talking about glitches and bugs, because nowadays every game seems to be released with them. Even like Wildlands still like fucking had them, and it's at the end of it, nearing the end of its lifespan. So it's like, look, so dear God, a AAA game actually releases fixed.
Well, I've heard good things about the Outer Worlds. Or Outer World, or whatever it's called.
No idea.
It's the Outer Worlds. I'm just trying to remember. I'm just trying to remember
Obsidian...
there's another game that's got a very similar title, and I keep getting the titles mixed up.
Yeah, I know, like, the one from Obsidian Games that came out, like, a week ago or something, like, I've heard nothing but good things about it, and it's very much is one of those things, like, I'd love to get this, it's just gonna come down to when I've got time to get it, and even then, like, I'm prioritizing, like, my next game that I get, I want to be, our next Let's Play, because, again, Wildlands was fun as fuck, and we need to figure out what we're doing next.
Oh, absolutely, it's brilliant. Then again, I talk about bugs and glitches. Then again, every game I've gotten in the past couple of years, people have said there's stability and bug issues, which I've never really run into beyond, like, maybe the odd weird, falling through the world or some really funny glitch happening, but that's not really any different than any other game from beforehand. There'd always be a glitch or a bug happening, but...
WWE 2K20. Excuse me.
I mean, people always just say...
Let's not get started on that shit show.
Oh, God. I don't know, because people say that games nowadays just don't release stable, but I guess, thinking about it, I've never really had that problem.
That's what happens when you don't put the time into QA that you should.
That's what happens when your focus groups are all, 12-year-olds.
Not like freaking Breakpoint has that excuse. Like you said, there was the beta and the outcry. They got an early warning that things were not right.
Oh yeah, I missed the closed beta, but a lot of people from the closed beta were in, or the closed alpha. I missed the closed alpha. I was in the closed beta, and a lot of people from the closed alpha were in the closed beta, and a lot of them were saying, like, this is the same shit we were talking about in the alpha. Why hasn't this been addressed?
That's what I'm saying. Like I said, you got an early warning that this shitstorm was going to happen. You should have addressed it while you still could.
Yeah.
It's not like games haven't been like delayed further to fix this kind of stuff before, and they have really benefited from it.
Yeah, like I'm just now thinking like why can't like CD Projekt Red or Naughty Dogs come out with, you know, a Wildlands style game? Because just think like both studios announced that like their next big games like The Last of Us 2 and Cyberpunk 2077, those games got like, this is old news at this point, but like those games got pushed back by a couple of months because the studios straight out said game's not gonna be ready. It's if we still go for our launch window, it's gonna be releasing incomplete, and we don't want to do that to you guys. So we're gonna hold it back. We're gonna slow down. Then we're gonna make sure that it is up to standard before we release it. And I applaud that. I wish more studios would do that instead of going, gotta get it out. We'll fix it later. Gotta get it out.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, you know, the game gets out and it never gets fixed. Anthem.
Yeah, there are quite a few studios who will push back the release date to make things right, and you gotta applaud them. I don't know, I still think more studios are actually doing that. Like the ones that really put the effort into their passion projects, the big projects, they always make sure it is done right, and then you get the ones that fall through the cracks that don't put the effort needed into it.
Yeah.
Just for a quick release.
Yeah, but at this point, I think we're about to start turning this into like a whole nother discussion.
Right. Focus on BreakPoint. Yeah. Right. Good point.
Well, even with focus on BreakPoint, is there really anything much else to say at this point? Like, do you guys have any, like, I guess, closing thoughts on this whole thing?
I know. Okay, I will admit, I have shit on it, like practically this entire video. Could call it a video. But I think the idea was there, like, an expansion of Ghost Recon. Sure, like I said that there's some little mechanics. Like I said, so like polished mechanics, like the camouflage, the hiding the bodies thing. That was a good idea. Having the enemies be ex-ghosts, that's really good idea. That's like kind of like a worthy opponent kind of scenario. You know what I mean? You could.
Oh yeah.
Like imagine a proper shootout with someone of your basically someone of your skill level. That sounds pretty good. Like you could make a really good boss fight of that without them being a bullet sponge, just because of pure tactics and all that. So that could have been really good. Having again drones, that's the next step up from like having them use drones, and machines, that's the next step up from just normal choppers, and they didn't really have tanks in Wildlands, did they? But that is the next step up, and allows you to implement, like I said, more use of explosives and rockets. If again, instead of them being bullet sponges, you need that sort of demolition explosive weaponry to take down these armored targets. That, again, more tactical area. Like, I've got to... Okay, there's a great big tank there. I've got to take that out first with my rocket and then quickly switch up or change positions to pick off the infantry. Or like I said, with the squad. Like, if it was customizable, or like a customizable squad with different equipment, or with teammates with different equipment, like our heavy guy will take out the tank, our sniper will start picking off targets, and we'll mop up the rest, sort of thing. That said, lots of squad tactics can be implemented there. So the potential was there, they just kind of executed it wrong.
Yeah. They had the right idea. It's just that where they had the box, and where the box said this end up, they had the up end facing down. And then they ripped the support tape off And then at some point they're like, oh wait, we have the other way around. Then they flipped upside down, everything just fell on the floor, and they're like, oh shit, what do we do? Put it back in the box before they notice.
Strange analogy.
I was gonna say, I don't know where I'm going with this analogy, but
Yeah.
they dropped the ball.
Basically, yes.
They were installing a ceiling fan and somehow got their testicles stuck in the window. That's what happened here.
I mean, like within like only a 2-year gap, what it should have been, and what they kind of try to make it look like, an expanded, more polished Wildlands, and that's what it should have been. Instead, they tried to make it something different, and failed. You know, didn't give what we wanted, what was advertised.
Yeah, because again, like their advertisements hid what it was. Like we didn't know until even now, like watching it, like even watching the ads and all that for the game. Do you really ever get the impression that you're playing a Division style game?
To be fair, though, like look at Destiny trailers. I wouldn't think it was a looter shooter off the bat.
Yeah,
like
touche.
Unlike Borderlands, that really like being a looter shooter is probably practically its key selling point. Just bragging about how many guns are in this game, like it's really showing like this is a looter shooter. Not really seeing others. Like they don't really say it's a looter shooter in other stuff, I guess. Like I said, Borderlands is the only looter shooter I know that really says it's a looter shooter. Proudly says it's a looter shooter.
It's the looter shooter godfather.
Aye. So,
yeah, but I think that's all we I think that's all we can really go on here is, or if there's anything else, just because the plan is like, let's just do a quick 20-minute video. We're approaching an hour.
I was just looking at that. I was just looking at the message in the Discord saying this recording's important and should only take like 20 minutes or so.
Do not underestimate.
Minutes later.
Don't underestimate how much people can rant.
Very, very true. Very, very true.
That being said, this is probably I've talked in most podcasts. To be honest, I don't usually get to say much in most podcasts.
Yeah, we make jokes about how Hosokawa is the one who keeps getting cut off, but Striker doesn't even get the chance to be cut off.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
It's fine. Most of the times I don't have much to say, to be perfectly honest. So it's nice to be able to actually talk about something on one of these for once.
Just keep an eye out for that spoon. You never know when it's going to strike.
Anywho, to everyone who stuck to the end of this video, thanks for watching. If you found if you found our ideas to be useful or entertaining, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe. Again, we'll hopefully have some links down below if you want to read up more on the whole blog post and what's going on with Ubisoft. Go check out the Nightmare Lounge to watch our Ghost Recon Wildlands Let's Play and see how we're here to help.
Yeah, put some of this in context. Heck, maybe comment about how you'd fix the game, or do you agree with me and think it's too fucked?
Striker's solution to fixing it right now is to pee beside the fire. No, not even on it, just gonna pee beside it and be like, this isn't even worth wasting on you.
Yeah, Striker's thing is he looks at the fire starting to take hold on the house, and his response is to call an architect.
Okay, that's a better analogy.
He's like, nope, not even gonna try. Just gonna start exploring my options now.
Yeah. Okay, that's a much better analogy. I think I can agree with that one.
That is a perfect analogy. And with that, thanks for watching. We will see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.